Gabbie Hanna thinks she's Britney Spears. Bonjour and bienvenue de nouveau to Jessi. Welcome. A couple videos ago, I talked about Gabbie Hanna and her unprompted, unrequested return to the internet. And I think the general consensus from the internet is that she should log off. She is so hell-bent on seeing herself as the victim for a situation where she was very clearly and objectively in the wrong, specifically when it comes to Jessi's smiles. I'll have my first video linked in the iCard above, but today we're going to talk about Gabbie Hanna's unhinged group chat messages with her fans. So Gabbie has her own Patreon page. A lot of the content is free, and then some of it is behind a paywall. And through Patreon, she has these open chats where she can communicate with her patrons. I will say a lot of the patrons are just as delusional as Gabbie is. About the Jessi smile situation, there is no way that you can bend this situation to make it so that Gabbie is the victim. She's not. Point blank. Period. Well, anyway, some of the group chat messages were leaked on Reddit and TikTok, and they are appalling. In the first screenshot, there is a member named Isabel who seems to be referencing a prior message that Gabbie sent, likely about Jessi or Trisha. And the screenshot starts with Gabbie saying, "You are part of the problem. Why are you here bringing her up? I haven't said her name in 2 weeks now? None of my content has been about her, but here you are. People like you, Isabel, are the reason this convo is still going." Isabel responds, "Gabbie, I brought her up because you did. Please scroll upwards." Because this screenshot seems to start in the middle of the conversation, we don't know what the truth is here, but I will say, Gabbie has been consistently delusional about the reality of what's happening, blaming Jessi and Trisha for what's happening to her currently, which is a bunch of backlash because she's bringing up years-old drama, even though neither Trisha or Jessi, to my knowledge, have addressed Gabbie at all. So it would not surprise me if Gabbie was the one who brought it up first. Gabbie responds, "Trisha, Jessi, the drama channels, they are one evil mutant who literally for years had group chats about how they were planning to attack me that day in unison." From what I remember, that's not what happened. I'm pretty sure Gabbie was the one who had group chats talking with her fans about Trisha and Jessi and sending them over like little minions to harass them on her behalf. In fact, Gabbie slid into a fan's DMs to talk specifically about Jessi, even though this fan was 15, if I remember correctly. So if anyone was plotting someone's downfall, it was Gabbie. In my previous video, I referenced Dustin Daly, who gave a quick summary on everything that had happened with Gabbie. So if you want some more context, I do recommend watching his video because he put out a compilation of all the videos he did on Gabbie as everything was unraveling. And I think that provides some helpful context on what everyone was sort of thinking during the time that all of this was happening. But anyway, someone responds to Gabbie's message and says, "As a person who has trouble letting things go, I can tell you that sometimes talking about it helps you move past it. Sometimes you need to do this repeatedly. I have so much stuff I need to let go of from my childhood, some of which I would have sworn I had already let go, but then it just sneaks back up on you and latches onto your mind like a hook, and then it cuts off there. Healing from trauma is not linear, and it requires a lot of work continuously, pretty much your whole life. However, the way that Gabbie is dealing with trauma she might be experiencing is not productive, and in my opinion, seems to be fueling her delusions. Typically, what's the healthiest way is working through this with a therapist. And that's the issue here. Gabbie's fans are not her therapist. If they are fans of her, they're most likely just going to enable her. Colleen Ballinger had this same issue where she would go to a group chat with all of her fans and vent about her ex-husband and all of her personal issues. So not only is it incredibly inappropriate for Gabbie to be having these conversations with her fans, it's also incredibly unhealthy for her. She seems to be surrounded by people in her real life that are enabling her, but also she is a 30-plus-year-old woman, very much an adult who has autonomy and should be responsible for her actions. Her inability to see herself as anything but the victim is exactly what's dragging her down. Gabbie then goes on to say, but what's ignored is the fact that many years later, despite the fact that we have years of conversations proving that we had moved on from whatever we had between us, she histrionically came out with this video that I need to be stopped. And with each response, she got more and more emotional and hysterical about it, adding more and more details, lying more and more to explain away the glaring evidence that she was obviously just building a drama channel career. And then it was, you can't respond because she's pregnant and that's harassment. You're hurting a pregnant woman. And then it was, she just had a baby. You can't respond. You're harassing a new mother while she's with her newborn. First of all, the reason Jessi was so emotional in her videos about Gabbie was because Gabbie refused to leave her alone. Second, to suggest that Jessi had this master plan to dedicate her entire career to taking down Gabbie is insanity. Gabbie seems to be suggesting that Jessi had this evil master plan to take her down all the way back in 2020, even though Jessi hasn't talked about her since 2022. Meanwhile, Gabbie over here cannot shut up about Jessi. This all started because Gabbie sided with Jessi's rapist. Sure, it's possible Jessi messed up too at some point, but nothing, absolutely nothing she did was as horrible in comparison to what Gabbie did. Gabbie wants to claim that Jessi slandered her name. Gabbie wants to say that Jessi was her abuser. But the truth is, Gabbie, you're the one who aligned yourself with a rapist. You're the one who said her rapist's friends were not the ones who raped her. You're the one who minimized Jessi's trauma, who doubted her story, who made Jessi's trauma about yourself, who lied about communicating with Jessi's rapist. You're the one who has been a person through and through, and every bad thing that is happening to you currently is a result of your own shitty actions. Gabbie then goes on to say, because Jessi Smiles is my abuser, period, point blank. Just like she was compelled to speak publicly about her abuse, I am compelled to speak about mine, and mine happened in the public eye at her hands. Hers was leaked by a TMZ article at her hands. Nothing about this is anything I would have wanted to be a public spectacle. Gabbie, that's not fucking true. The reason Jessi even made videos about Gabbie is because Gabbie brought it up first. The first time was because she was DMing a 15-year-old fan, and that fan decided to share those screenshots with Jessi. And then the second time was because Gabbie started this series where she planned to talk about all the scandals that she'd been in and proceeded to post a video in which she justified being a rapist apologist. Gabbie's definition of abuse is fully skewed. Let's just say, hypothetically, Jessi was mean to Gabbie. Being mean to someone is not the same thing as abuse. I'm not trying to tell you if you were or were not abused, but to this day, you are abusing and exploiting Jessi and her trauma. She then says, but because my abuser moved her abuse from BTS to front and center in the public eye to build a drama channel, it makes perfect sense that I would want to talk about my story of abuse for the people in my phone contacts and my community that are being served videos about me because of Trisha and Jessi in 2026. Jessi didn't care that I confided in her about my own rape when she did this. Gabbie is deflecting responsibility here. And let me preface by saying, rape is wrong. It's disgusting, it's abhorrent, and I fully empathize with Gabbie. But Jessi never shared any of Gabbie's trauma. I think this is the first time I'm hearing about Gabbie's trauma. That would also lead me to hope that Gabbie, you would be understanding of what Jessi is going through. And the only person who continues to bring up all of this in the year of 2026 is Gabbie herself. She then says, the way Jessi Smiles put out her video on the day of my music video release, I was advertising heavily. The way she had to put out another video with my name in her thumbnail the day I put out my Bad Karma EP. Gabbie, can you not see? I know that she can't, but can you not see how absolutely incredibly absurd this is? There are significant differences between Gabbie's art and Jessi's assault. Something that's probably glaringly obvious is the severity of each. Yeah, Gabbie's art might be important to her, but it does not hold the same weight as the life-altering trauma Jessi experienced. I don't know about you, but if someone hurt me so badly, traumatized me, re-traumatized me, and refused to let me be, I would want to tell my story too. And if Gabbie wants the freedom to talk about her trauma over and over again, then what sort of double standard says that Jessi can't talk about it too whenever she wants? This is a two-way street. Then Gabbie goes completely off the rails and says, Jessi Smiles wanted me dead because she has a secret that she doesn't want me to share, and I haven't. And I said in one of my videos that I wouldn't. Same with Trisha. I had info she didn't want me to share, and I said I wouldn't, but she had to destroy me anyway. These people, make no mistake, wanted me dead and gone. What the f, Gabbie? No one ordered a hit on you. Saying that is actually beyond delusional. And again, the only reason that this is being talked about currently is because you brought it up, Gabbie. And the people in her chat are only hyping her up, affirming what she's saying, even though there is no proof that people wanted her dead. That is an outrageous claim. Gabbie then says, Jessi made her motive clear from the start. She wanted me to be stopped. Yeah, you dumb, because you wouldn't stop bringing up her rape. And then Gabbie says the most disgusting, vile thing. From what exactly? What did I need to be stopped from? Telling Jessi that her friends didn't rape her? Because that was the whole crux of the video, right? No, she wanted me to stop being successful. She wanted me to stop being able to function as an artist and creator. Then she says, and just as a reminder to myself, the reason I brought it up at all is because as soon as I started posting and going viral again, all the viral posts about how I'm psychotic and dangerous start going around. Because of Jessi, Trisha, and the drama channels. I have never experienced psychosis. I have never been diagnosed with a manic episode. I have only been diagnosed with trauma response. What is a normal human reaction to being abused and gaslighted publicly for a decade, all while people like Isabel pop in with Jessi moved on after she slandered you and built a successful career on hateful lies. You need to move on too. Gabbie is just rewriting reality right in front of our eyes. When Gabbie returned to the internet, the only reason people started talking about the Jessi Smiles and Trisha Paytas situation again was because she f***ing brought it up herself. She wouldn't let it go. And she wants to sit here and act like she doesn't wrap herself up in other people's business, even though she created a video directed at Tara's world, saying that Tara doesn't love herself or respect herself because of the nature of her work, creating adult content. She wants to act all holier than thou and pretend that she's so connected to God, that everyone else in the world is hateful, and that they need to find Jesus and repent, whatever that means to her. She's just disgusting, a vile human. I've really tried to be empathetic when it comes to Gabbie, but it's so hard to be empathetic towards someone who continues to spew hatred, say disgusting, vile things about other people so publicly, and refuses to take accountability for any of the shitty things she's done. And the fact that she's admitting that she told Jessi that Curtis Lepore's friends didn't rape Jessi proves to me that she is as vile as I think she is. Because whether or not that's a fact, associating yourself with people who continue to be friends with someone who confessed to raping someone says a lot about your character. Gabbie also put out a TikTok about Adam McIntyre saying that he's not a good person. Who the fuck asked you, Gabbie? Who made you the arbiter of morality? On March 3rd, Gabbie then posted to her Patreon a very, very long essay. She says, "Alright guys, so I've been thinking and praying a lot today, especially after this morning in the group chat. I'm obviously still really triggered by all this, and I've been allowing it to pull me into a continual state of sin. It is not okay to hate. Today, I've just been crying out to God to please remove the hate and unforgiveness from my heart. It is not okay to want to retaliate and hurt people back. It is too easy to instantly revert back to a place of wishing I could change things that are out of my control." And this is the crazy part, because she admits that fans and haters are correct, that she needs to move on. But she goes on in that same paragraph, outlining all the ways that she believes that she is the victim. She then says, "It takes a lot of strength and courage every time I attempt to be consistent online again. Without fail, as soon as I find some stability and start posting again, viral videos start swirling around, misdiagnosing me, making openly bigoted remarks about my faith, my ethnic features, and mental health. It's truly like I'm subhuman. People's ethnic features are off limits, unless it's Gabbie Hanna. Religion/faith is off limits unless it's Gabbie Hanna. Mental health is off limits unless it's Gabbie Hanna. I 100% agree that people are cruel unnecessarily, especially about her appearance, but I have a huge issue with her saying that people are bigoted when they're criticizing her religion and faith. You are weaponizing your religion and faith to hurt other people. She's out here using her religion to police how people act. She did this with Adam. She did this with Tara's world. She did this with her fans. And when you start pushing your religious beliefs onto other people who might not believe the same things as you, telling them that they need to repent, that they're sinning, that they need God in their life, that gives them every right to push back and give you the same energy that you're giving them. And the way that she writes this is as if she believes She's the only person in the world to ever receive criticism from the internet. Once you put yourself out there, once you share your opinions, people will respond. Some people are much kinder than others. Unfortunately, some people can be very cruel, but those responses are just part of publicly sharing your thoughts. That's the unfortunate or fortunate reality, depending on how you see it. Gabbie is so focused on controlling everything around her instead of herself. Yes, she has every right to talk about these things, but she can't continue to dredge up old drama and expect no one to respond to it, because just as much as she has the volition to share her thoughts and opinions, other people have the right to do the same. She then talks about the struggles of not being able to live an online or offline life without other people meddling in her business. I can 100% understand how frustrating that can be and how violating it is. So on that part, I agree. Don't stalk her. Don't get into her personal life. She already shares enough online that it's unnecessary to go digging even further. She then talks about her wedding and her marriage, and that she never intended for it to go public. But the reason that it did go public was because drama channels shared it. This part confuses me. If I remember correctly, Gabbie was the one to share that she got married at all. I tried to see if there were any other news outlets or drama channels that had released photos or information regarding her wedding, but everything that I saw linked back to Gabbie herself sharing it publicly. Unless I'm missing something, it's wild for her to expect people to not talk about it if she herself was the one to share it on her public social media. Well, here I go again after recording my voiceover to fact check myself. I could find 2 instances of the news of Gabbie's engagement being shared prior to her official post in November of 2025. The first one is Womp Womp, Trisha Paytas. She posted an episode of her podcast, Just Trish, titled Getting Invited to Gabbie Hanna's Wedding, Taking the Influencer Quiz, and Parenting Hot Takes. And this was posted on March 29th of 2025. The second leak was from Gabbie Hanna herself. In December 2024, Gabbie posted some holiday photos with her and her family and her now husband, Robbie. And in some of these photos, you can see her wearing her engagement ring. Now, these posts are more of an Easter egg than they are an actual announcement. I mean, it really could be any old ring, but these internet sleuths out there, if someone wants to find out information about you, they will. So for that, she's partially to blame. But then again, people shouldn't be digging up her personal life, so I will give her that at least. And Trisha announcing it to the whole world served as confirmation that she was engaged, so that's definitely not cool. Also, maybe this is just clickbait, but did Gabbie actually invite Trisha to her wedding? That would be crazy. If Gabbie was living such a private life at that time, I'm wondering how Trisha would have even known that Gabbie was engaged, unless Gabbie herself told her. But this is me just speculating. If you do know how Trisha found out, let me know in the comments down below. I'm very curious, because this version of the podcast is the extended version, which is behind a paywall, and Lord knows I will not be giving any of my peasant pennies to Trisha. And the last point I want to touch on regarding this novel of a post is her comparing herself to Britney Spears. She says, "It is shot for shot what happened to Britney Spears at the hands of the tabloids/paparazzi before her mental breakdown." Yes, I can understand how other people being in your business can lead to a mental breakdown like that. Saying that your life is shot for shot like Britney's? Gross. Disgusting. First off, Gabbie is making herself sound so self-important, as if she's anywhere as famous or relevant as Britney Spears. Britney went through decades of trauma and was relentlessly targeted by paparazzi and tabloids for years, not only destroying her own life, but also severely traumatizing her children. It's pretty vile of Gabbie to compare herself to Britney, but I guess I shouldn't expect anything else from Gabbie. Popping in here again to clarify the Britney Spears comparison, I realized that the reason Gabbie compared herself to Britney was because during her seemingly manic episode in 2022, where she let a stranger into her house, it sounds like an emergency response team was sent to her house as well, and that whole experience in itself can be very traumatizing. I empathize with her there. My issue is that she thinks that she's the victim in every single part of her life, and her biggest complaint, which is evident in this soliloquy soliloquy that she posted on her Patreon is that people slandered her name, which directly affected her success as an artist and a musician. I'm not trying to minimize all of the things that Gabbie went through during that time, so I hope that clears things up. She needs to stay off the internet. Clearly, it's not good for her, and she's just pissing everyone off. And if she truly, truly wants to live a private life, she needs to learn how to establish boundaries for herself, stop victimizing herself, stop inserting herself into other people's business, stop policing how people act, stop re-traumatizing people, because continuing to brood in this negativity is just fueling resentment towards her from the public and is doing her no favors. In my opinion, the reason that Gabbie firmly believes that Jessi is dedicating her entire career to solely bringing down Gabbie is because this is something that she would do herself. She is projecting. She can't understand that she is not the center of Jessi's world. Meanwhile, Jessi is living rent-free in her brain. Gabbie has no morals, although she claims she does. She thinks that declaring her love for God, her dedication to Christ, and her commitment to ridding herself of sin makes her a good person. But declaration has no meaning if there is not follow-through in action. Gabbie is motivated by hate, and she has proven that she will never change. And that's the most unfortunate thing of it all. I'm so frustrated with Gabbie. I really am trying to be empathetic, but god damn it, she makes it so fucking hard. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed your time here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one.